Anfield. 5 losses in a row at home. Can you believe that? Liverpool just love breaking records, don't they? They just love to be able to go on their longest ever home record winning streak in the history of the club or whatever bullshit. And then you decide to go on the longest losing streak in however long in the club's history since like 1953.
For the first time in the club's history, make no bones about this, the manager got it wrong.
Absolutely. Only Liverpool FC. It would only happen to Liverpool FC. Build the greatest team that I've ever saw in my lifetime. And then for it to just drop like a ton of bricks. Again, this...
Congratulations to Chelsea. They came, they got their victory. Good goal from Mason Mount. Fair play. I always give credit where it's due. But how on earth can you take off Mohamed Salah? The player, the only one of our front three that was creating a goddamn thing out there on that pitch. And he takes him off.
Circumstances, but people, when you look at today, what was the number one problem? Because we've been finding these excuses, and rightly so. We have been excuses FC because we've had many things to look at to not necessarily distract us from the main reality, but it brings in a few more points and it brings in a few more valid arguments to why these things could be happening to Liverpool Football Club right now. But let's talk about the actual decisions from the manager, but I am sorry, a lot of the decisions that man has been making over the season and furthermore today has actually lost us games directly. And you've put the faith into them sweet. And then you've got Diogo Jota on the bench, you've got Divock Origi on the bench, you've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, you've got Naby Keita, and you've got Shaqiri, all available on the bench. Probably one of the strongest benches that Liverpool have had in recent weeks, no doubt about it. When you're 1-0 down against one of the more defensive sides who are very good at controlling the game. They're like a Burnley, but with quality and money. That's what Chelsea played like today. A Burnley and a Brighton, but with money and quality on that pitch. And the ability to keep control and take possession from Liverpool. And then what does Jurgen Klopp decide to do?
They were absolutely ludicrous. Nobody can explain or justify to me why Mohamed Salah got taken off the pitch there today. He was the only one that created a thing for us. He put a ball through to Curtis Jones and to Sadio Mane that they both should have done better with. Absolutely ridiculous decision making from the manager today. And he has to hold his hands up and admit that he got it wrong. Very rarely will I ever get on the manager's back. I love him. I'm 100% Klopp in. But that is inexcusable in my book, ladies and gentlemen.
To one of the more defensive sides in the Premier League, who are very good at defending, even without Thiago Silva, getting that Phillips into their backline, get Reece Williams into their backline, and they'll do okay because of the system and the way they set up. And you're telling me you're bringing off Mo Salah, your top goal scorer in that situation, for a striker who, yes, granted, has been our second best attacker this season, even though he's missed 3 months. But the key point there, he's missed 3 months. So my problem weren't Jota coming on the pitch. That weren't my issue. It was the fact that our top goal scorer was coming off the pitch and he was the first substitution to be made.
And then what does he do later on in the game? He takes Curtis Jones off at the same time, by the way, which, again, silly decision. Leaves Thiago on, who wasn't impacting the game at all. And then, just to rub the salt in, he takes off another one of our players to bring on James Milner. Naby Keita sitting on the bench getting splinters in his arse. Somebody that could come on and impact the game. Make no bones about it. I am pointing the finger of blame today squarely on the manager's back. And it's the first time I've ever done it on the channel. And I'm not just overreacting to a loss. Those changes were goddamn ridiculous.
And then not only that, you yet again bring off Curtis Jones, which Jurgen Klopp has done a few times over the past few weeks, which has made no sense because we seem to lose all sense of direction and drive in that midfield when Curtis Jones exits. But yet you leave Thiago on the pitch who's been playing shit for weeks. And then you decide to come up with the balls to take off Thiago and you bring on James Milner with 5 minutes to go.
How when you're chasing a game at home? You've lost 4 in a row already. The top 4's on the line. And you take off your top scorer. You take him off. The only one that could probably have done something in that game, and you take the man off. What message does that send? What does it send? It is ridiculous. Yet again, sideways passing, long hopeful balls, same old story, banging our head against a goddamn brick wall. I am sorry, but that is not good enough. That is not good enough for the players that we had out there today. That is not good enough for the players that we had at our disposal from the bench. Diogo Jota came on, he did alright. Chamberlain, in fairness, wouldn't have been my first substitution change along with Jota, but he did alright. But Thiago comes off and he replaces him with Jimmy Milner. Jimmy Milner, who was a great forward, a great midfielder, a great player, and somebody who you bring on to see out a game. Not when you're chasing a game. Not when you're staring down the barrel of the 5th home defeat in a row for the first time in your club's history in the top tier of football. I'm sorry, folks, the gaffer completely shit the bed today, and I'm absolutely fuming at that. Again, congrats to Chelsea. Great goal from Mason Mount. But one shot on target. One goddamn shot on target in an entire 90 minutes of football at home in a fight for the top 4. And to even call that a shot on target was a stretch, because it was a Gini Wijnaldum header. Compared to what? Chelsea's 6 attempts on target that they had. One team went out there today with an attacking intent. One team went out there today trying to win that game. And it certainly wasn't us, because we did what we've been doing over and over again. Rinse and repeat. Side to side. Diagonal balls. Hopeful balls over the top. And then take off your top goddamn goal scorer.
But that makes no sense. Makes no sense. And I don't actually feel it has any outside factors to why he's making these decisions. I genuinely feel he's looking in training and he's thinking, oh yeah, Oxlade must be doing better. You're bringing on Oxlade-Chamberlain who's got zero energy nowadays when it comes to being on the pitch. And don't get me wrong, Oxlade-Chamberlain did not do terrible when he came on the football pitch. He added a little bit of something. But you've got Naby Keita, who's been fit for 4 weeks, and you're not bringing him on the pitch. You've got Shaqiri, who's played way more football than Oxlade-Chamberlain, look way more on the ball than Oxlade-Chamberlain. Again, I don't see training. I'm only saying what I see on the pitch. And you're bringing on Oxlade-Chamberlain, who every time he's came on the pitch this season has looked no better than average. No better than above average, most certainly.
Oh, and while I'm at it, let's have a little bond with Sadio Mane. 2 games in a row now, Sadio. 2 games in a row the fella gets into the penalty area, gets fouled and stands on his feet. Could have had got a blatant penalty in the first half if he goes to the ground. But no, too honest for his own good. And here we are, 90 minutes at full time. We've lost. There again lies the difference. Go to ground, fella. You got the touch, go to ground. Now the handball on Kante, never a penno. Never a penno in a million years, in my eyes. Too close to him, no problem with that. I'm apoplectic is the word, folks. I'm absolutely shocked at those decisions from the manager. You're chasing a game. Chasing a game against the team who are directly ahead of you. 1 point ahead of you, and you're already a goal down. A goal, by the way, that came about because we gave the ball away on another one of our ridiculous attacking attempts where we try a little half-lobbed cross in and Chelsea intercept it. Good play, I think it was by Kante, who feeds in Mason Mount. And look, Mason Mount's finish was quality. No problems there. We got a warning earlier on. We got very, very lucky when Werner was, an arse hair, a nose hair offside. And we get away with that one. I'm sorry, I very rarely will ever criticise our manager, but he got it very, very wrong today and he has to hold his hands up. How can you have Keita sitting on the bench and bring Jimmy Milner on to chase the game? Can anybody explain that? How can you have Mohamed Salah, who's been a top scorer, the only one that knows where the goal is, and he takes them off?
So, you're giving yourself the worst possible chance by taking off... This is what I don't get. It's not even the 3 points that I'm very frustrated about that we never got. I'm frustrated we never gave ourselves the best possible chance. Taking off Salah, bringing on James Milner later on in the game, that's not giving yourself the best possible chance in any way, shape or form. Now let me just touch on Chelsea, because I always like to do these videos and give credit to the opposition as it's very rightly deserved. What have I been saying about Mason Mount? Let me just say it again. What have I been saying about Mason Mount? That player has got the ability of... I don't think he's better than Grealish. I don't think he's better than Maddison. But he's fucking up there. And they're all very close when it comes to ability and it comes to quality. He's their best player, in my opinion, no doubt. And today he's shown that. Tactically, Tuchel never only beat Klopp, but battered Klopp with that over-the-top long ball, through ball. Destroyed us in every aspect. And other than that, they just battered us. They dominated the game and actually could have won by more. So that's where I'll say with Chelsea. Then we'll go on to our player rate.
And to make it worse, you see Salah shaking his head in his stand because he knows how ridiculous it is. Has he lost the plot? I don't know anymore. Honestly, I'm baffled. Over to you guys, because I've lost it. I don't know what to say. Those decisions were just ridiculous. It's just rinse and repeat. If it doesn't work, try it another 50 times, lads. It might work again. Chelsea, the difference there was they switched up their attack. They tried a few long balls. They tried a few passes in and around the box. They tried some 1-2 touches with third man runs. Every time we cross the ball into the box, we're hitting it in like Peter Crouch is in there. When the truth of the matter is, we should be getting to the byline, cutting the ball back to the edge of the box for a third man run, or playing it on the deck, because we have small, pacey forwards. Not Peter Crouch, not Olivier Giroud, not these monsters in the box that are going to win headers against Christensen and Rudiger, who'll mop that shit up all day long. Oh, look, that's all but done, our top 4 chances now. All but done it, and again, we go out with a fucking whimper, a home. It's ridiculous, it's embarrassing, and it's just not good enough.